Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the slides? Can you all see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Anyone? Okay, so I have shared the week one slides with you. It's from the NPTEL only. That is covering the introductory topics which you guys have covered in the CSA also. And we had a discussion over various things that is also covered in those slides. It's there in the class materials. You guys can check. From today onwards, we are going to start with the central processing unit, that is the CPU and the how the internal workings of it looks like. So before starting that, I would like to, if anyone, can you just summarize what did we discuss in the last week? Anyone? Can anyone
So
just
we
summarize?
started about we studied about different types of registers and like how does processor interact with memory unit, like a basic intro, and some types of instructions like about operand and opcode and all.
Yeah, very
And
good.
bus architecture.
Okay. Anyone wants to add anything to it? Anything anybody wants to add? Okay. Can anybody tell me uh, what are the types of major types of registers inside the processor? Major three classes of.
General
General
purpose
purpose,
registers,
Oh,
specific, and
okay.
temporary.
temporary storage.
Okay. Anyone other than Shraddha? I think it will make, because then everyone will be included. Anyone else? What is the purpose of general purpose registers? Anyone? Anyone else? Which special purpose registers did we study in the last week?
So program counter and MAR, MDR, and instruction register.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the full forms of MAR and MDR?
Ma'am.
Memory address register and memory data register.
Yeah, very good. So, we have studied four types of special purpose registers. There are some temporary registers, there are some general purpose registers. We have seen some bus architectures, we have seen some functional blocks, we have seen some how an instruction looks like. We have seen an example. Um, which example did we look at? Do you guys remember?
Add R0
Add
to location A.
Okay, so what is the major difference between add R1 and R2, comma, sorry, add R1, R2 and add R1, comma, LOCA?
So
sir in
LOCA, the data is present in the memory that is outside the processor, but when it is R2, the data is present inside the processor.
Yeah, very good. So, is our objective is the what is our objective to bring the data inside the processor? Can we work from outside also?
So we can work from outside definitely. Like our major objective is to bring it inside the processor.
Okay, so we have to bring the data inside the processor so that execution is faster and it's under our control. Okay, so hopefully everyone is clear with these points. Can anybody just tell me, apart from you two guys, anybody can tell me what is the major functionality of program counter?
Sir, it holds the address of the next instruction to be performed.
Okay, so and what is the major functionality of instruction register?
Uh, it holds the address of the instruction which is being performed, like the current instruction.
इंस्ट्रक्शन रजिस्टर.
सब पूरा इंस्ट्रक्शन ही
हाँ,
होल्ड करता
पूरा
है।
या
instruction.
एड्रेस नहीं, एड्रेस तो उसमें स्टोर होता है. ठीक है.
Yeah.
So hopefully this all point is clear. वो example I think have you guys did you guys try to do it with your own selves? with both like if the data is inside the processor and if the data is outside the processor? Did you guys try to solve it? Write the steps. I'll suggest कि उसको अपने से करके देखो. It will make the things clear for you. The whole data path will be clear to you, so that it will make sense when you study the where the placing internal workings and of the registers are, how they are placed, what are the inputs for them. All those things will be clear if this is clear in your mind. So I'll suggest ki if you have not done it, I'll suggest ki usko try to do it. For say for an example, add R1 and R2, then do it for add R1 LOCA. And if the example is add LOCA comma R1, will the where will be the data written at? Add LOCA comma R1.
Sir, LOCA पे.
Which one is the operand and what is the opcode here?
Add is the opcode and LOCA and R is the operands.
Is everyone clear on this operand and opcode thing? किसी को कोई doubt है इसमें? Anyone have any doubt in this operand and opcode thing? What is called
No, sir.
operand and operand? Okay, fine. So okay, we did an example in which LOCA may we did it that add R1 comma LOCA. So for that, when instruction register decoded the instruction and it saw that the data is not inside the processor, it again gave an instruction. It gave the address to MAR. From MAR, that location in the primary memory was accessed. From that, there the data was fetched inside the MDR, and that's how the data for that instruction, both the data for that instruction was brought inside the processor. But what if you have to write, like for an example, add LOCA comma R1? What is the one more step which is added in your instruction cycle? If you have add LOCA comma R1, so you have to write the answer, like firstly you calculate you'll add both the data inside the ALU, then you will have to update the data at LOCA. So what will be the procedure for that? Can anybody tell me?
So we will have to tell the memory address register to store this data. MDR and MAR will be updated and the right instruction will be given.
Can you be more specific? That is right, I agree with that, but can you be more specific? Where will be the address? Just एक दो तीन steps add होंगे उसके अंदर. So can anyone be more specific how things will happen? Did you guys understand the problem?
So can you repeat?
Add LOCA comma R1. Okay. After the data has been added inside the ALU, it has to be updated in LOCA. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So I'm asking ki what will be the steps for this after the ALU has added the data? मतलब डेटा का पाथ क्या होगा, कौन से रजिस्टर में क्या चीजें अपडेट होंगी, व्हाट विल बी द अपडेशंस?
सर LOC के बाद तो PC का इंक्रीमेंट होगा.
पीसी का इंक्रीमेंट होगा, क्यों?
सर वो नेक्स्ट इंस्ट्रक्शन पे जाएगा ना.
और आगे बताओ, मेन चीज बताओ. अपने को डेटा लिखना है LOCA पे ना, फिर उसके लिए क्या प्रोसीजर? चलो छोड़ो, किसी भी मेमोरी लोकेशन पे डेटा लिखने के लिए व्हाट इज द प्रोसीजर?
सर लोकेशन MAR पे जाएगा और जो डेटा होगा वो MDR में जाएगा और कंट्रोल सिग्नल राइट दिया जाएगा, फिर वो अपडेट हो जाएगा मेमोरी में.
Yes, is this part clear with everyone? What she just described. Is this part clear with everyone? MAR say data will be written or read at that memory location, and MDR, if we are writing something, will take the data from MDR and will write at that location at the address which is stored in the MAR. And for that, the control signal write has to be generated. If you have to write the data and if you have to read, then the control signal read has to be generated. Is it clear with everyone? Is this point?
Yes, sir.
So what will happen? That's what I'm asking. Ki LOCA mein when the contents has been added in the inside the ALU for LOCA and R1, what will be the steps? 2 steps something will be done. I have just described it. Can anybody just tell me in proper terms? Anyone? Did you guys understand what I was saying? Anyone?
So, like, I'm not sure, but the result which the ALU gives will be copied to a register. That then the contents of the register will be given to MDR. Location A will be given to MIR.
MAR. So what you said
I
is
mean,
there will be some intermediate variable register somewhere. वो तो
yeah.
let's not discuss it right now because that's a temporary register. We'll discuss the functionality of that. But till now, just normal functionality wise, ALU में addition after the addition has been done inside the ALU for the data which is present at the location A and the data which is sorry now the data is inside the MDR and R1 that data has to be updated in at the location LOCA. So for that the address has to be stored into MAR, then a control signal of write has to be generated. The data will be stored into MDR. In between there will be some intermediate temporary registers used, so we are not discussing it right now, but they will be used, but we'll not discuss it right now. We'll discuss it later, but then that value will go into MDR, and after the control signal of write is generated, so the data will be written at the LOC, the location which is stored at the MAR. So these three steps are actually added if we have to write the data also in the primary memory. So तीन type के examples we have discussed. What are the three examples? Firstly, the data, both the data is inside the processor, that is R1 and R2, or maybe some other processor, other register. Then the other case we discussed in which we had to read the data from the primary memory and update it into a register which is already located inside the processor. And then the third example we discussed how we can how we can add the data which is located in the primary memory, and then and a register inside the processor and update the values in the primary memory as well. So three examples. Is it clear with everyone? Inka data path, what is the flow of the registers? I'll suggest write it down with your own hands. We have discussed two examples. Third one I have discussed orally. Write down all three of them with your own hands, so then it will make things clear for you. Is this flow clear with everyone? This data flow? Sorry. Is this data flow clear with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do just practice with yourself so it will be clear in that time. Okay, can you see the slides? We should start now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so instructions. This is just the basic fundamentals for it. In this unit, actually, we are going to see key. We have discussed how the values are stored inside a general purpose register, or how the instruction register is getting used, how it is decoding the instructions, how it is reading inside the instruction, which one is the opcode, which is the operand. But if we do not know the internal workings of these registers, it is not possible for us to actually get an insight and introspect of these things. So for that, in this chapter, we are going to discuss things regarding those. What is the internal placements of these registers? Where are they located at? And what are the internal wirings and connections being between them? So this is just a general introduction. This is instructions. We already know why the step of the program counter is getting by 4 in this case, because in this the program counter points to the next instruction. The next instructions are 4 bytes or 32 bits. Can anybody tell me, बहुत general question I'm asking, why 4 bytes 32 bits?
So because it is a byte addressable memory and word length 32 bits की है तो 4 bytes से update होगा.
Yeah. So what is the other form of addressable? Is there any other way we can also address it?
Word
Byte,
addressable.
word addressable or something like that?
Yes,
Byte,
sir.
word. So
Word address.
Word addressable.
what is the major difference between word and byte? Difference
So
addressable.
So
byte
word is of
address
entire
में
32 bits, and byte में जैसे like it's been depicted this way, like 4 bytes, तो हर fourth byte का जो है वो 0, 4, 8, 12 ऐसे करके.
So this you have studied already in the CSA, hopefully. You have? I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if somebody wants to revise all those things, it's there in the week one slides, so you can just go and look into those slides also. If you want to read about it, just go into the Hemature. It's already there. You have studied it. You may revise this concept. So I'm not getting into that, but the program counter will increment after each instruction to according to the bytes according to the word. So here it's incrementing by 4. So this is clear. Binary I'm not discussing. Addressing a byte in a memory, two ways we have discussed. You already know about it. One is the memory is each byte in a memory has a unique address. Memory is said to be byte addressable case, and word addressable is also the other way. Typically the instructions are of 4 bytes, hence the instruction memory is addressed in terms of 4 bytes. Word length is 32 bits. This is just common, some fundamentals, basic fundamentals. Okay, from here the basic instruction cycle, it's called as the fetch execution cycle. In this we have three main phases, that is the fetch phase, the decode phase, and the execute phase. So in the example which we discussed yesterday and right now also, that add R1 R2, can anybody just tell me which one is the fetch phase, which one is the decode phase, and which one is the execute phase?
सर जब इंस्ट्रक्शन मेमोरी से प्रोसेसर में आता है मतलब पूरा इंस्ट्रक्शन ऐड
Okay,
R1
take an
R2.
example of add R1 R2.
Yes, sir.
Let's discuss that. उसमें fetch phase कौन सा है? Which one is the fetch phase?
सर
So
जब
जब हम register
प्रोग्राम
से
काउंटर is pointing to that instruction and it is being fetched from the memory
Okay, what is the
into
decode phase?
सर जब opcode और operands अलग अलग decode करे जाते हैं
Where does it happen?
ALU.
ALU हाँ
No, think more. Who decodes the which part?
Instruction register.
Yes, very good. But actually the thing is that there is a unit actually in which the instruction register is actually sending the thing to get. It's called instruction and decode unit. It's already there inside the processor where the instructions are decoded. But we in general we say that it's done in the instruction register itself. So the decode phase happens at the instruction register. Is it clear? Where does this execute phase happens? In which functional block?
ALU
Yeah, most of the, because execute there can be branching here, they can be add null, all those opcodes can occur here. So mainly ALU or any place at which the what we had to do we are doing. So that functional block is in this case ALU. So for one example you can see the how does this fetch execute cycle looks like. uh, will it be same for add R1 comma LOCA?
yes sir
It will be same. Will there be more number of say fetch, more number of decode for add R1 LOCA if we do not have both the data inside primary memory?
Yes, sir.
Will it be same? Because for add R1 R2 we have both the data inside the processor, but for add R1 when we do not have both the data inside the processor, we needed to fetch one more time. Do you guys remember?
Yes, sir.
yes sir
So fetch दो बार होगा, मतलब fetch repeat पे होगा फिर तो.
सर fetch होगा ना बस decode और
हाँ
execute
मतलब
थोड़ी ना
बट
होगा
दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज आस्किंग कि ये इतनी इजीली नहीं फ्लो करेगा ना, देयर विल बी सम मोर लूप्स टू इट.
yes sir
सो दैट्स व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग यू. ओके, सो विल डिस्कस इन तीनों एग्जांपल्स के लिए वी कैन ड्रॉ आवर ओन फेच एंड एग्जीक्यूट साइकिल. इज
so
इट क्लियर?
I have a doubt.
या
So, in the second example, that is add R1 to location A, जो comma location है, तो सर उसमें ये साइकिल तो एक ही बार होगी ना, बस fetch एक और बार होगा
हाँ,
अंदर
फेच वही
internally.
मतलब जो 3 स्टेप्स हैं, इन 3 स्टेप्स में डिपेंड करता है कि इंस्ट्रक्शन कैसा है. उसको मान लो ऐड LOC A, LOC B है. व्हाट विल हैपन देन?
So then दो बार तो डेटा के लिए fetch होगा.
So according to the instruction this thing is changing ना, इसके
Okay.
स्टेप्स मतलब चेंज हो रहे हैं. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग. ये जरूरी नहीं है सीक्वेंशियल मैनर में हो, देयर विल बी सम लूप्स टू इट. सो यू गेटिंग इट?
Yes sir.
So the best thing is you can write the instruction over it and draw its fetch cycle. then write the other instruction, draw its fetch cycle, so that you have a clarity over whether when the data is present inside the processor, how does the fetch cycle looks like. When the one data is inside the processor, the other one is in the primary location, how does the fetch cycle looks like. Do it for 4 or 5 examples, then the things will get clear. Okay, is it fine with everyone? Is it fine with everyone? Did you
Yes, sir.
guys get what I'm saying? Okay. So fetch execute cycle, fetch the next instruction from the memory, decode the instruction, execute cycle, gets the data from the memory if needed, data not available in the processor, then perform the required operations on the data, may also store the result back to the memory or register. So these all the scenarios are actually dependent on what I'm suggesting is, if you will do it for various examples like what we have discussed here, then you will get a proper clarity over where the data is actually going, and what will be the exact fetch cycle or execute cycle for it. So this is the basic fetch cycle, fetch and execute cycle, and it will change according to the instructions we are providing. So these are the two registers we have already seen, so I'm not discussing that. Okay, so now this is an example in which two instructions are there. One instruction is add contents of R1 and R2, data which is present inside the register 1 and register 2. The other instruction is at 1004. The instruction is multiply the contents of R3 and R4. So as you can have multiple instructions here. So firstly, the PC will be pointing towards 1000. It will transfer this value to MAR, that is memory address register. PC will increment in the meantime 4 by 4, since it's following a 32-bit architecture. Then MDR, in MDR, this first instruction that is located at 1000 location will be there, that is add R1 and R2. This instruction will go inside the instruction register, where it will be decoded by the instruction and decode unit. It will see that both the data is inside the processor, so it will do the further processing, and it will take this data inside ALU, and you will get the value of data from R1 and data from R2 inside the R1. So in the meantime, do you guys think that when program counter is incremented to 1004, this next instruction will also be read, that is multiply R3 and R4?
No, sir.
Will it or will it not happen?
It won't
No,
be
sir.
read.
Okay, this will not happen. Okay, just think over it. I'll just get back to you guys. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Will it execute? Will this second instruction occur at the same time? Is there
No.
any possibility of parallelism here? Anyway.
No, sir.
Okay. But is it not dependent on some kind of a bus or something? Do you guys think it is dependent on the bus? I know it's an advanced thing I'm asking, because parallelism and pipelining, everything else is later on. But do you guys think if we are following a single bus architecture, do you guys remember the kind of various kinds of bus architectures we discussed?
Sir.
Yeah.
So जैसे सर लाइक और R1 R2 की जगह से तो रजिस्टर्स है, अगर कोई मेमोरी लोकेशन है वैसा कुछ होता तो ऐसा कुछ हो सकता था कि हमें वापस मतलब इंस्ट्रक्शन की जरूरत पड़े, तो सर लाइक अगर दूसरा इंस्ट्रक्शन पहले आ जाएगा तो फिर सर लाइक वो खो जाएगा ना पुराना वाला। तो
नहीं, nothing gets lost, कुछ खोता नहीं है, everything is there. It's in the that's why temporary variables are used. We'll discuss temporary variable क्या करते हैं. But right now just for this example I am asking कि अगर 1000 एड्रेस पे add R1 R2 था और 1004 पे is there a MUL multiply values of R3 and R4. I'm just asking, is there any possibility, if we are following multiple bus architecture with parallel with pipelining support, is there any possibility of parallelism happening here? Like when it is doing decoding of this instruction, can the value of 1000 like multiply 3 and 4 get updated inside say MDR, or someplace MAR will get the value of 1004? Do you guys think can that happen?
So it can.
सर
Yeah,
कैन हैपन सर।
there is some essence to it. मुझे समझ में आ रहा है कि if you draw a chart, say, have you seen the parallel pipelining instruction cycle example somewhere? Like there is some grid lines. Have you seen, like you have instruction phase, execution phase, decode phase, sorry, decode, then execution, then store and memory for 5 phases. I'm discussing a very advanced thing with you, which we'll discuss later on. But you guys can sense that there can be some sort of parallelism happening here if we use multiple bus architecture, or it will depend on bus architectures. Is it fine? I'm not asking the whole inside, but are you getting an essence of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to hint here. We'll discuss the proper insights of how things will look like, because there is a proper 5 steps are happening. So in the next cycle, what will happen, which instruction will execute, uska kaun sa part will execute. So according to that, things will happen. I just wanted ki wo hint or essence aa raha hai ki nahi aa raha. So requirement for instruction execution is necessary for registers should be present. If we are using say temporary registers, those should be present inside here. Internal organization of the registers must be known. What do you mean by internal organizations of registers? Means that special purpose registers is taking how many inputs, and it is having how many outputs. So we need to have a proper idea about the internal organization of each of the special register, general purpose register, and the temporary register as well. The data path must be known. Can anybody just elaborate or give an idea what do we mean by data path? We have discussed this, but not with this name. But can anybody just give a vague definition? What do you mean by data path?
Like the way the data is being fetched.
Only fetched, or decoded, or executed, or
How
the whole
data
flow of the
travels
data?
inside the processor.
Yeah, in
So
processor
ALU में जब
memory.
तक आया तब तक का
So
उसका
the whole flow of the data inside. So yeah, so you getting that idea. We discussed it in various examples also. So you saw how the data is flowing from, say, if it's outside the processor, how it's flowing from outside to inside and getting updated and getting updated inside the register. If the example is, say, add R1 comma LOC A, if the example is add LOC A comma R1, then how the data will be again written back to the same memory which is located in the primary location. And so for all the various 5 or 4 examples, we have seen the data path is varying for the data. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, the best way I think is to understand is to these all points is write all those various examples and see all these things happening for them. Then the things will be clear. If the data is inside the processor, what will happen? If it's not inside the processor, what will happen? If you have to write it outside, then what is the procedure for that? So I'll say ki categorize your writings also according to those examples only. Those will give you a very clear cut idea. So for instruction execution, a number of micro operations are carried out on the data path, main involving movement of the data. Micro operations, we'll see there is a unit for it also. There is a section for it in this unit. We'll discuss how some various micro operations are performed on this data path to get our result. So the data movement actually it can be broadly classified into 3 categories. That is register to register data transfer, register to ALU data transfer, and ALU to register data transfer. These are 3 movements of it. Data movement is supported by in the data path by the registers, the bus, the ALU, and the temporary register. Okay, temporary register. You guys have seen in one of the diagrams. We have seen that in single bus architecture inside the processor, there were 2 registers. It's there. I'm not sure. Yeah, there it is. You guys can see this. There are 2 registers here that is called Y and Z. These are called temporary registers. Temporary registers are basically inside the processor which a programmer cannot use. Like there can never be an instruction such as add R1 comma Y, or there can never be an instruction such as add Z comma LOCA, or there can never be an instruction such as add Y comma Z, because these intermediate these temporary registers are actually used by the processor for storing the intermediate values. So can anybody tell me what can be an intermediate value, intermediate result which the processor has to store? Can you guys guess?
So addition का result.
Addition का result, what are we
तो
adding?
जैसे कंसेक्यूटिव फॉर एग्जांपल 3-4 नंबर्स हैं, तो पहले 2 नंबर्स को किया, अब वो एक उनका टेम्पररी सम को हमने तीसरे में किया, फिर उसका टेम्पररी सम जनरेट हुआ जिससे फोर्थ को ऐड किया, ऐसे करके, तो वो जो इंटरमीडिएट आ रहे में बी दैट.
Yeah, okay, somewhat right.
So
अपन इसमें yeah,
can I add?
yeah, sure.
So like before storing जैसे हमने add R1 and R2 करा तो उनका जो addition का result आएगा before storing it into R1 वो ALU temporary register में
Yeah,
store कर लेगा.
yeah, that's right. One more thing, अपन इसमें addition, all those things are getting added in terms of binary numbers. So will carry or something occur here? कुछ carry हो सकता है कुछ?
Yes sir.
So can carry be also be there inside the temporary registers? Is it possibility?
Yes sir.
So all these things, all your inputs are right, but this is also one of the possibilities in here. So you guys now have an idea why we can't use this temporary register, because in between these calculations and all these operations, the processor is using this temporary register for its own convenience. So that's why it's not accessible for the programmer or the person who's going to implement the logic inside the processor. Is it clear with everyone? Is this point clear with everyone? Temporary register key functionality example. Is it clear?
Yes sir.
Okay. So this is a single bus organization in which we have discussed it before also. There should be a line in between. It's not here. There should be also be a line between MDR and this blue line, the main bus. Is this bus inside the processor or outside the processor?
So inside the processor.
Okay. Just to be clear, everyone is clear about this part. It is inside the processor. Okay, it is inside the processor. Okay, why? From this memory unit, you have a bidirectional bus connection with MDR, and you have a unidirectional connection with MAR. Can anybody explain that? Why is this happening on the left side?
So because data can be read as well as written तो MDR में इसलिए unidirectional चाहिए होगा, whereas
Bidirectional.
हाँ bidirectional
Hmm.
sorry and MAR में हम लोग एड्रेस बोलते हैं कि इस पे लिखो या इससे रीड करो.
So is this clear with everyone? Why we have bidirectional bus connected from memory unit to MDR? Is this point clear with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so okay. So you have various on the left side, as you can see, there can be the various registers are there, such as program counter that is connected with the internal bus. Various MAR, MDR, all those are connected with the internal buses also. Then you have this Y temporary register which is connected with the internal bus, and then you have this MUX. Do you guys remember this? What is MUX? Have you guys done it in the CSA?
Multiplexer.
Multiplexer. So what is a multiplexer?
It is used for selecting between different lines.
What is the main use of it? Why do we use a mux? मतलब
So to get a
general
single
बताओ.
output out of many inputs.
Many input, single output. Yeah, less outputs. Is it fine?
Yes sir.
And how do we select which number of inputs to be taken?
Selection lines.
Selection lines.
Is there a selection line in this multiplexer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So everyone is clear on this concept. How many inputs are there for this multiplexer?
Two.
And one is there from the temporary register, that is Y, and one is there 4. Can anyone guess why there is a 4 there? I'll give you a hint. Program counter.
Sir, increment by 4 that byte addressable memory है तो
So what are we incrementing?
word next instruction जो fetch होना है.
Byte बढ़ रहा है. एक
What
byte से
are
increment.
what are we incrementing? Are we
Address.
incrementing?
Address like byte addressability से तो address increment.
Are we incrementing the value of program counter?
Yes, sir.
Program counter 1000 पे मान लो, for an example, program counter was pointing towards 1000. Okay. For the next instruction जो कि 4 पे increment, next step है 4 का, so that will 1004. what is this 1004 pointing? Is it getting updated inside PC?
Yes,
PC,
sir.
that is program counter. Please do not mix it with other PC. This is program counter. So the value of PC will now be 1004 for the next instruction.
Yes, sir.
So how will this addition, how you will increment it inside the processor? You can't just do ki 1000 plus 4 kar do, because everything is happening inside based on a logic, based on a circuit logic. So can you guys guess?
So ALU करेगा ना?
ALU karega. Very good. So that's why we have this 4 value in here, so that if you want to increment, see, I'll tell you the data path for it. You have to increment the value of PC to 1004 now. So it will take the value 1000. This ALU will take the value of 1000 from this bus. This PC will get inside from one side, and 4 will get in from here on this side, and then addition of say 1004 will occur inside the ALU, which will get incremented, which will get updated inside this temporary variable, as someone just described ki, we can use the temporary variable for this kind of instance, and this temporary register Z, from here the value of 1004 will get updated in PC. So now the PC will point towards 1004. So this is how the data path will look like for incrementing the value of PC to 1004 or any other 1008. अगर यहाँ अगर अपन 8 को अगर if you are following say 8 byte का instructions, so then in that case what will come here on this mux, left side of this mux, 4 or 8? 4
So
or
can
8?
you repeat your question?
If we are incrementing the say the next steps of the instruction is getting the next instructions are getting stored at, like, say, each eighth step. So should there be 4 in here on the left side, or should there be 8 on the left side?
8.
8. So you're getting it, getting the idea why we are using this mux, and then how the value of PC is getting incremented. Do you guys understand the flow of how the PC got incremented?
So what does the temporary register Y have?
You can't just increment the value of PC like this. You have to use the value of which will get inside the Z, that is temporary register, and from there you have to increment the, you will get update the value of PC to keep track of things and to make the so that the data doesn't get lost out. ठीक है?
So I was asking for the register Y. So जो mux का दूसरा input है.
That is for say some other functionality, not for this. I was just explaining the case of PC, how we are using the value of PC, incrementing the value of PC. Y will be used for some other case, like all the examples which we have discussed for why we used a temporary register. So for that, ठीक है?
So PC का flow एक बार यहाँ marks से दोबारा समझा देते please.
PC, anything which gets updated, all the values inside the processor, it will be based on some kind of a circuit logic. So circuit logic in this sense, we are following key, if you have to increment the value of 1000 PC program counter from 1000 to 1004. So how you will do it? You will take the addition will happen inside the ALU. So you will take the values of say from PC, and it will get, say, if we are using the temporary register Y. So from this data bus, the value of PC will get inside the Y. From Y, you will have the values. Either the value of PC will directly go inside the ALU, so that because it's a register, so instruction register will take just the value of PC and will give it the value of PC will get inside the ALU, and from the left side the value of 4 will get value 4, which is stored inside a temporary register, will get inside ALU. Addition will occur from in between 1000 and 4. 1004 will be placed inside a temporary register, that is Z, and then this value will get inside this bus again. From this bus it will get inside PC. So now PC will be direct pointing towards 1004. ठीक है? एक बार इसको खुद से write it down with your own hands. Things will get clear. I'm just telling the vague example. Thing is that I do not have the tablet right now. In the next lecture, I'll try to write it down so things will get much clearer. Try to write it down with your own hands in your copy. Then we'll discuss it. अगर कोई और doubt भी होगा तो we should proceed further. ठीक है? In the next, I think in the next lecture, I'll try to have the tablet so it will make things much more clearer. Okay, fine.
Yes.
Okay, so in the right hand side, you can see there are various general purpose registers. These general purpose registers actually vary according to the processor and according to the processor architecture. So various other processors will have various different number of general purpose registers. And here, as you can see, there is a dedicated instruction decoding and control unit, which is connected with the instruction register. So all the instructions are decoded in this here, and that is being sent to this single bus architecture. Single bus, and from there the other registers can access the data. The problem with this single bus is that only one data can be there inside this bus, so it is very slow. There is no possibility of parallelization, and it will make your things not properly organized. So single internal bus organization,
So- So can you please switch to the last slide? सर क्योंकि प्रोग्राम काउंटर तो खुद भी काउंटर है ना, तो व्हाई डज इट डिपेंड ऑन एएलयू फॉर मतलब उसके वैल्यू को इंक्रीमेंट करने के लिए?
कोई भी एडिशन इनसाइड द प्रोसेसर डजंट अकर. यहाँ सब रजिस्टर्स हैं. ऑल दीज वैल्यूज इनसाइड इन प्रोसेसर के अंदर कोई भी इंक्रीमेंट, ऑल दोज थिंग्स अकर व्हिच इज बेस्ड ऑन a circuit logic. You can't just increment the value of say program counter by say 1 2 or whatever number you want. So it has to follow the एडिशन. मतलब यहाँ जितने भी ऑपरेशन हो रहे हैं सारे एलयू के अंदर ही होंगे. तो अगर इंक्रीमेंट भी करना है, डिक्रीमेंट भी करना है, अगर एडिशन भी करना है, वो सारी चीजें एलयू के अंदर ही होंगी. दैट्स व्हाई वी हैव टू फॉलो दिस पार्ट. इज इट क्लियर?
यस सर.
रजिस्टर है वो, तो दैट इज जस्ट अ रजिस्टर.
ओके.
ठीक है. So single internal bus organization, all the registers and various units are connected using a single internal bus. Registers R0 to Rn-1 general purpose registers used for various purpose. This varies according to the various processors and architecture types. So we have various numbers of general purpose registers according to other different processors as well. Y and Z are used for storing intermediate results and never used by the instructions explicitly. So if I give you an example of say add MUL y, MUL y comma LOCA, then and I have asked you whether it's a valid instruction or not, you have to write it's not a valid instruction, and the reason you have to state because since y is a temporary register. Is this point clear? Is this point clear with everyone? So for this, so to make the instruction decoder and control unit is responsible for performing actions specified with instruction loaded in IR. We have seen all these points. Okay, we'll discuss one more multiple bus architecture, that is 3-bus organization, in the next lecture, and then we'll see how the registers are actually placed inside the processor and how the internal workings of them actually looks like, how many inputs does it take, how many outputs are there. So we'll discuss this point in the next lecture. Okay, so hopefully, and I'll suggest to you guys, try to do it with your own hand in your own copy, so then the things will be clearer. Okay, I'm just downloading the attendance. Just a minute, guys. Okay, thank you everyone. You may leave. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.